At 90 Days Tracker, Donald Trump isn't remotely halfway there. Be generous and give him half of 1 point for a framework of a deal with the UK, and we'll give him a point for achieving a preliminary.
Is it Fox News is calling it the LA riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening? What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory in a lawsuit.
So let's get started.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration,
all right, I think I got it.
Drop our playbook.
Executive order specifically notes, and under what the DOD did, is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state. I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks have been doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires.
Also, no news today. No news Monday.
Working collaboratively in a mutual aid
I think a lot of us in session are going to have to wait, specifically for a sweep of what I believe is. Oh, I got to change this. Almost not streaming my screen. 1 second.
He said because he deployed the National Guard.
Let me edit
been
this.
deployed when he said this. It's Orwellian. Simply lying to people.
Muted. You want me to cut mine off real quick?
Yeah, that's fine. You do that.
You're saying that the President of the United States has made the situation on the ground here in Los Angeles less safe. What do you know about
1 second? And there we go.
Been any ICE raids in the city today? Are they coordinating with you on that at all? Are they giving you a heads up?
Of course, they're not coordinating. That said, we were told in just a recent briefing just a few minutes ago there was small activity in the county, not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car.
I'm looking at previous day high first as the first draw on liquidity to say. We inverted some fair value gaps on the 1 hour, which makes me think that at least we'll hit this previous day high, if not this range high. Really, like Ty, I'm guessing you were saying was this range high is what we're waiting for.
Yeah, absolutely. London highs, then previous day high, and maybe a weekly high. And then we'll trade based off of those levels.
What's your message to those people who are out there?
Yeah, we're stuck inside of a bearish fair value gap and a bullish fair value gap on the 1 hour. So one of those levels will get inverted and eventually.
And to property, they're potentially damaging.
Someone said, PV curious if you choose before the session a half risk or if it's a setup type deal. Just curious on how you make the choice to turn down the heat. Generally, it's before the session. It's like multiple trades before. I'll understand if the market's giving me what I want or not, or if it's more difficult or less difficult to trade in current market conditions. If it's more difficult to read, I reduce size because you have to. If not, then I'll keep the same size. Like today, I'm almost certain I'll probably keep with my half risk. June 18th is the day. Oh, that would be lovely, Marcin. Marcin.
What is June 18th?
FOMC.
Also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. This is Donald Trump's problem right now.
I'm seeing local
he continues to
resistance here.
Hard publicly just 10 minutes ago.
So what I'm going to do?
Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you
nice. ETH back to the highs.
To the president about any of this?
No one is just asking about this.
We talked for almost 20 minutes.
If you wanted to start buying ETH,
I kept trying to talk about LA. You want to talk about
the goal is just to buy it within this gap, which you had.
This was late Friday night.
For what?
About 1:30 plus his
8 hours yesterday. You can still do it now. I mean, really nothing has happened with it. I don't think most of the market really is still at the same prices.
Was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted.
I think so, at least. Yeah, most of the market is still at the same prices right now. Some of them are breaking out, but I still think it's time. Wow, Maker.
There's only working for him.
Lovely. Look at this huge candle from, what was this, Bitcoin? Oh yeah, it was definitely from Bitcoin.
In your state on Friday, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in LA. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other
Bluefin
things.
doesn't work for the
What
U.S.
was happening in Los
It
Angeles?
should.
I'm more than aware. And obviously,
Have they
we were
changed the
setting this
game?
up to take these
I
additional
think you just need a
steps.
VPN.
And I'm not
Did you
saying
use a
we were
VPN,
setting
Anthony?
things up. I'm not saying it was a setup, but clearly they were in the process of moving to these.
Yeah,
next
so that's
steps
the key.
because
You have to use a
out of nowhere,
VPN.
just few
You
hours after
open
that
your VPN and
conversation,
put it
he
in
moves to
Brazil
pull the trigger
or
under this,
Cuba.
this
I think Mexico doesn't work
under,
anymore, but you can try Mexico.
Title
I
10
use Mexico
and,
for
and
Binance.
then created and
And
exacerbated
then,
the conditions that are
then
persisting
you can
today.
use the
And this is
platform.
your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here. You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops
And New
have been
Zealand
out,
works. There you
all
go.
across Los Angeles, working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you
Yeah, I mean,
find
yes,
out
that's definitely
that the
some
United
SMT.
States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National
ES
Guard?
is much
I
stronger
just
than
got a call
Nasdaq.
from a staffer. No heads
Yeah,
up
a
whatsoever.
lot stronger.
And again, we're here
Or weaker, I mean,
to
for
support
today
local
so
law
far.
enforcement. There's a
As
mutual
is
process.
Mm,
for
Local
the
law
high
enforcement
time
had
frame
no
is a lot
needs.
stronger.
They were not
ES
requesting
took
Yeah,
its
just
Thursday
lower
highs.
time frame.
I've got 100
Oh, okay,
now. I
yeah.
have
Let me check lower
175
time frame. I haven't even looked at
CHP
it.
officers,
Lower
top
time frame,
tier trained
ES just took
officers,
out
tactical
like 2
teams
local
to
lows
Oh,
that
I
address
see
NQ
it.
has held.
Yep.
We are here to
That's
support
what I'm gonna
good.
local
check
law
to see is
enforcement,
that.
Gabby, that
the
is
sheriff's
correct. That's a
office,
good example.
LAPD, but they didn't
Now we got to
make
see, like,
us
is it going to
whole.
do
We
anything, though?
made this
So, like,
up. This
SMT
is
can
a
be anywhere, but it may not even
manufactured
fucking
crisis
do anything.
in order to get under the tent to start to stretch credulity and to begin the process of moving inevitably towards a constitutional questioning crisis around
So
posse
something I just
comitatus.
noticed
And
right
it's,
now
I think,
is
inevitable. That's where he's
I'm
going.
not
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not
I'm
rule
not
out
ready.
literally arresting you,
Yep.
nor Mayor
So we
Bass,
could get a
if you
possible
interfere in his words. He said you
London
have
Low
He's a tough
sweep
guy. He doesn't do that.
ILM.
He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off.
We could
Philly
get
Home
London
Goods
Low
that are trying to get
displacement
educated.
to
Let your hands
this
off those
Thursday
poor
low.
people who are just trying to get
Well,
live their
actually, it's
lives,
technically
man.
Friday's lows.
Trying to live their lives, paying
So
their
London Low
taxes, been here
displacement
10
to
years.
previous day low. That would be an idea.
Horror. The hell is this guy? Come after
Or
me,
chop
arrest
the
me.
fuck
Let's just get
around.
it over with. Tough guy.
Those would be 2 that I would really like.
I don't give a damn.
Or a
I don't
previous
care
day
about
high
my community. I
sweep
care about
to
this
London
community.
Low.
The hell are they doing? These guys
Couple
need to grow up.
ideas
They need to stop.
here.
And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind
Previous
of
day high
bloviating is
sweep to
exhausting.
London
So
Low.
Tom, arrest me.
So I'm not in anything. These are just a couple ideas that I'm looking at
theatrics happening out there. Mayor
that
Bass
we
told me
could
that
get
she spoke
today.
directly to Tom Homan. Has he reached out to you? Have you reached out to him?
Low-hanging fruit
No
would just put it
communication
to
whatsoever.
here.
Direct communication and
Or
forth with Susie
some
Wiles,
sort of
and
orb
with
to the
president,
downside.
conversation.
There
And I
obviously
think the
are pockets of
only
violence,
orb that would really
out
work
there,
would be
on
to the
streets.
downside,
How
because we
concerning
have previous
is
day
the
lows,
violence in
previous
Los
day
Angeles
highs
tonight?
so
How
close to
widespread
the
is it to you?
upside.
You're monitoring it.
Yeah, we're monitoring it. I think that's self-evident. We're here with LAPD.
So
We're
those
here
are a
with
couple
we're here
ideas
with,
that we
the
might get
Sheriff
for today.
Department, my National Guard, that we're still working in command with, and others monitoring the situation in real time, providing whatever resources we possibly need. We're calling out the violence.
So that means
Full stop. It's
there's
wrong. And we're calling for the
orb
President
to
of the
the
United States to
upside
rescind his
would be
order
something like
so that
this,
he can clean up his
here
own
or
mess.
here.
Steve,
Yeah, an orb to the
people
upside
use
would
the
be
word
okay,
insurrection
would
about the
have a
activity on the
decent
streets
rest
of
reward
Los
as well.
Angeles.
This is just, they're trying to
That ties,
incite
Mike.
violence.
No, I think that's EC. Yeah, you, and I think your mic's open.
The kind of
Sorry, 1 second.
that only makes conditions worse, that quite
He has the
Always like
Brazil
somebody-
VPN on.
people's lives at risk.
Guy's taking a shower in the
Intentionally and
background.
knowingly doing that.
Tuned in from the shower. Now I've got my headset. I'm going to switch it over to my mic.
Oh, okay.
Well, go ahead. Feel free to
No,
speak.
I mean, I know, and I don't mean even to cut you off. I think it's about
I
something
mean, I
much more.
still cannot get into
This
Top
is
Step
about
even after
authoritarian
changing the
tendencies.
password.
This is about command and control.
They
This
really
is about
fucking
power.
destroyed
This is
these
about
guys.
Ego. My way or the highway. This is a consistent pattern of practice, of recklessness. This guy has abandoned the core principles.
Like, you
of
go
his
to
great
log in, it
values.
just says exciting
He's
improvements
threatening
ahead.
To, what?
Oh, is there
Objectives
maintenance
against
on the
reason.
dashboard today? Is that why?
Funding to institutions of higher learning.
Oh, the dashboard doesn't
Cultural
work right now. That's why I can't get in.
He's
Okay,
rewriting
so I
history,
can't even use
censoring
Top Step today then.
historical facts. I mean, this is something completely
Because I can't even
different,
contact their
and
support
this is
team.
part of
Okay.
that
You need to be able to
play
Leave
that
it.
is unfolding
log
in
in
front
to
of our
get
eyes. It is a
support, and I can't
serious
log
moment
in.
under the guise
Log
of
out.
immigration, but it's much deeper
Some
than
Okay,
that.
people
that
are
gives
saying
me
you
a
can
little-
just use to go to Top Step X to
Reported
trade.
with, and about you
If
throughout
you
your
wanted to trade
tenure
with it.
here. I've not seen you.
The problem is I need it.
as
Oh,
angry as I
wait.
feel like I've
Project
seen you
X
here.
has a different.
Do you
They
think
don't have
that
to
there's
reset
way
their
out of this?
password.
Where does
Well,
this
it needs
go
to
from
be.
here?
He
What
needs,
happened?
he
What,
needs to stand down. The
Okay,
president
that might
needs
work
to
then.
stand down. He needs to
I'm trying to get on the
receive support,
dashboard.
and we'll work together. Clean
You guys
up
are
his
saying they got
mess.
hacked.
Did
They
he
gotta
respond
fucking
to
change
the
my
last time
password,
you
so I'm
were
trying to
CEO
do it.
earlier today? Did they respond at all?
Of course not.
Nothing.
No, there's more lies and statements. Look,
Yeah, so I'm hearing
when you see
dashboard's
me
a
out there with
no-go,
Tom
but
Brady,
you can
the
use
president,
Top Step
we had a very
X
cordial conversation
right
on
now.
Friday night. I'm not looking to find a
All
quarterback
right.
being a
Well, I'll worry
spokesperson
about
for
doing a
over.
dashboard another day, I
Yeah,
suppose.
we'll stand tall and firm in terms of defending our values, but I want to find areas where we can work together. But you go after vulnerable
They
communities.
don't take my credit card
You go after
information in the
kids.
meantime.
I was just down in Compton School District 3 days ago. And they were
Wasn't
talking
there
about
a rumor going around
a
that
kid.
Top Step was
I don't even
hacked,
know where
and
she
then
is.
they're using
Yeah.
this maintenance as like a cover up?
The hell is going on?
Yeah.
Threatening real.
Yeah.
These are friends.
Yeah,
These are people
definitely.
we know, members of our community, destroying industries in the state.
Sneaky.
You claim to care about
Yeah, they're
ranchers and
selling all of our
farmers.
fucking
You care
trading data.
about construction industry.
Okay.
I mean, these
They're
are
getting
the
away with
folks
this too.
that you're
to.
going after in the most uncivil and indecent way.
They're selling it all Citadel,
I have
so our
no problem.
stops are going to
I
get
have
hit
no
more
problem
often
going
now.
after criminals. We've coordinated and collaborated with ICE. Over 10,000 transfers that have been part of my administration. So I don't
The new
need
dashboard
leadership by
works.
these
Damn,
guys that
some of
work
you are
coordinated
be
and
able to get in,
collaborative
but I
with
can't.
criminals.
California State Prisons does hand over
Yeah, they
inmates.
stole Jaden's
Facts.
data,
And my
so
legislature, with respect, it's not an indictment, but I've had to veto
everything's
legislation
patched.
for them to try to stop me from using that authority. So when these guys say we don't go after criminals, again, they're lying, and they are knowingly lying.
What's your message to the people that are out there protesting
All right,
for
whatever.
the rights
I'm just
of
gonna do
immigrants?
that
You
shit
want to
tomorrow,
see
I
those
suppose.
protesters continue to be out on the street and protest these
I want
actions
them
by
to
the
be.
Trump
I
administration?
just want them to be safe.
Okay,
And I
market's been
just-
open for
I
about
want
11
folks to
minutes
know
now.
they're thinking about going after. I just
Looks like
be
we
safe,
have
be
not
supportive.
taken any
Of course
TBL.
I
London
support
High
them.
was skipped.
I mean, protest is the foundation of this democracy. It's what
London
makes
Low, I
this
don't
think-
country great.
Matters.
And that needs
Oh,
to
yeah,
persist. And right now, people
ES
need
took
to
out
vote
London
up.
Low, it looks
We need
like.
to be mindful of the toxicity of this moment.
NASDAQ
And then we
did
have
not.
to deal with these elements that are coming in that are intentionally trying to take advantage of this in a way that only aids and abets Donald Trump. And this is what he was counting on. And
All right, so 11 minutes in, no TBL's been taken.
Careful
ES has
at this
taken
moment.
the
I
London
pray
Low.
that people are cautious and careful at this moment.
You know, we talked about
Marcin,
this is
I
in
just
some measure
marked it right
immigration,
now.
in some measure, it's about democracy. Do you believe some people have said that this is an attempt at distraction from maybe the matters with Elon Musk?
I
Back
think
in
it's Jaden in the
Washington? You know,
position.
why
He's
did this
short.
happen now? In other words,
You took a short from the buy side. I think it was M5 fair value gap got inverted, barcoded for a
Yeah.
bit, and
That's what
then
Donald Trump
market
does.
open, moved down.
Moves this direction, move that direction.
Oh, there you go.
Look,
I
this
think,
guy
and I
has
think his
90
stops
days,
are at entry.
90 beautiful deals. How many deals? Zero.
He'll be safe on that one.
Give me a break. I mean, Elon Musk is you know, the sycophant of sycophants as it relates to this love relationship that he had with the President of the United States. Said it
Order
exactly
filled.
right. We're likely enter a recession the second half of the year because of the recklessness of this tariff policy under this administration. He's just
Circle is
selling
up
our
100%
kids.
from
And
IPO. I'd
he
let
keeps
it calm
$2
down for a
trillion
bit before
of debt.
before getting into it.
Order filled.
How insane. When do they generally open options on these IPOs?
I have a feeling.
15
Depending on
days?
the depending on the volume, within 2 weeks.
Right now.
Yeah, you can learn something.
What might you say to him if I'll give you the floor. You have the opportunity.
Okay,
What you've
so-
been able to say to him on that
So I would
phone
love to
or
start selling
calls that hasn't
puts.
taken today.
Just, I mean, where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and
We have to
unconstitutional.
mark.
And I
We
said
have
it-
to
I'll
just.
say it again,
We
it's
could get a
illegal.
5-minute ILM here.
You're
We
creating
probably
the
already got a
conditions
1 minute.
that you claim
We had a
you're
very
solving,
small
and
1
you're
minute.
not.
Let's see.
And you're putting real people's lives at risk.
Oh, it was
This is a serious moment.
internal
and it
liquidity
requires
sweep for
serious
Nasdaq.
leadership. And it's time for you to be a
No,
commander-in-chief
actually,
of the United
yeah,
States of
Nasdaq
America.
just swept London
And I
Low.
will have your
It
back
might have. It was
if
like
you
by
wanna
a
work
point.
in a relationship of trust and truth.
So we do have a
in the
possible
spirit
London
of our
Low
founding
ILM
fathers.
here.
But you come after poor kids, you come after
No real
families.
target.
We will do
You would have to
everything in our
target
power
the
to stand
previous
up
day
and
high.
stand in your way.
Governor Gavin Newsom, what time are you filing the lawsuit tomorrow?
Very early in the morning. I'd love to do it tonight, but we got lawyers working on the brief.
All right, Governor Gavin Newsom, thank you for being here live on MSNBC. I appreciate it.
Right into the IPO, but Robinhood locks it for you for 30 days, so you can't just dump it. That sucks.
pictures
honestly.
out of Los Angeles. President Trump was
Wait, now you
reporting
should be
2,000
no. You can
national
sell
guards
your. I
against
think you
the
can
wishes
sell your
of
IPOs from
Governor
Robinhood.
and
At least I know
Mayor
people that
Cuomo
bought
urging for calm.
all of
But
their
Trump spoke
shares
early
on
the
Robinhood
protests.
with the
He left
IPO
open the
launcher.
possibility of
They couldn't buy a
invading
lot,
the
to be fair. I think they were
Insurrection Act
maxed
if
out at
things
like
turn
3K.
violent. Joining us now is Michael Cohen, former personal attorney
But they were able
to
to sell
Donald
it the
Trump.
first
He's
day.
also the host of the Mea Culpa podcast and Substack, top-rated host
But
at
you
The
can't
Real
get
Michael
access to.
Cohen.
You
Alora
can't
is
access
still
any
here
more
with us.
IPOs if you
Michael, thank you
sell
for joining the
another
table
IPO this
tonight.
first day.
You just wrote a piece,
that's
and I want to quote a bit
that
from
doesn't
it. It's
sound
about
fun.
what's happening, unfolding right now in Los Angeles. You say this isn't tough on crime.
Sometimes though.
This is political
Like it's
theater,
great. It's got
starring
it's I
soldiers
like
in
the
camo and directed by a man who is
innovative
deep down
innovation for it
grasp on
coming up,
power
but that's so
relies on
weird.
suppressing yours.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard that
I
one
wrote
yet.
it at 4:30 this morning, by the way, which is prior to, of course, all of this crazy. But here's my take on it. Why is it that this is happening right now?
I have London Low at 21,750.
These 2,000 National Guardsmen. It's
Yeah,
not
London
because
Low
he's
didn't take,
concerned about
or London Low wasn't
signs.
taking on
It's not
Nasdaq. I think,
concerning, remember
like
what
you
they
guys
had
said,
during
ES has already
Trump's,
taken it.
Rallies, mass deportation.
Nasdaq
Now, same sort of signs that
created
we have
equal
here.
lows. It was
It's to
21,7
distract you and the rest of the media
21,750.75.
from what's going on with the fights with
Yeah,
Elon
ES
Musk.
took it.
And
When he
it
was
missed
losing
that
that
ILM
fight
just now on the
where
5-minute by
180
about a
million
point.
people were following Elon Musk. This is just a sideshow.
This is reality TV.
Reality TV. He's the best at it.
I don't know. It seems like he's been. If it's just reality TV, it's hurting a lot of lives, and it's been doing so
Which he
for
doesn't care
several
about, by the way.
months.
Which
No,
he doesn't care about. This doesn't
obviously.
mean anything to him. He actually wants to see people clashing with police, so in that way he can justify this action. But this is all distraction. And we know with Trump, there's two things that he's great at: distraction and deflection.
You also argue in this piece that
Yeah,
he
no
views
1-minute ILM out of this
protest
whole
criticism
section.
as treason. That's
No
serious.
2-minute or
It's
3-minute.
treason to him. He doesn't care about
So we're
anything
about to get a
other than you
5-minute.
following his directives.
And that was the opening
He
range.
needs to show the American
So here's the
people
high of
that
the
when he
opening
said
range.
that he wants mass
And then
deportation,
here's our
he
low of the
needs his
opening
numbers.
range.
He wasn't getting the numbers. So what does he do? He creates a scenario like this. There was no reason to deploy
Yeah, I'm just
the
cleaning up
National Guard.
my
Police
workspace a
could have
bit.
handled it. They didn't need to show
I
up
recognize that I
here
was just
at
not
Home
really ready
Depot. All
for
of
the
this,
trading
again,
day, so I'm
is
getting
the-
myself
it's the-
ready.
Yeah, but okay. My view on this is that he's been looking for an excuse to have a confrontation, not independent of the fight with Elon Musk.
So
Actually
people
brings me
said
to a question that I
MNQ
have for
did
Laura,
close
which is
outside of the
how should
one,
the
the
public be
ILM.
responding when they
I
see, for
mean,
example,
it was like
masked
right
armed
on it.
men show
I
up
don't know if I'd
without
consider that a.
badges, without
It
warrants,
doesn't really
without
pass the squint
identifying
test.
themselves, and
But
take someone off the
regardless,
streets.
I
When they
wait for
see
the orb
something that
anyway.
looks like it might be extra legal, or that it's unclear what's actually going on there. What should people be doing, particularly U.S. citizens, to not take Donald Trump's
Not a full
bait
sweep,
and
not a
give
full
him an
ILM.
excuse,
I
essentially,
wait.
to escalate further?
It is extremely important for those who have legal status, particularly U.S. citizens, to be upstanders in that moment. Although it might be terrifying to watch, I ask that U.S. citizens who are witnessing these moments remain calm, video and tape everything that is happening. Try to get identifying details for the officers, for the vehicles, of the location where a raid is taking
So
place.
Nasdaq
And
missed
US
this
citizens
sweep
or
by
other
about
bystanders
75
can
cents,
report
and then
that
missed the
information to
ILM. I
ICE
mean, it probably
hotlines,
made it,
ICE
but
reporting
NQ
hotlines that
itself
let
missed the
community
ILM
members
by
know
about a
where
quarter.
an ICE raid
So
has happened.
both of those
The
front
most
running.
important information is details, not something that will unnecessarily stoke fear, not something that might be a rumor, but grounded information. And the video footage is really important. We saw that in Rumsaya Ozturk's arrest. The footage of her arrest, the footage of her expressing her fear at being targeted by unknown masked agents spread worldwide and raised concerns about what is
Where's the
happening in the
actual?
U.S. and what is the state
Yeah,
of
and if there's
democracy.
small stuff like
Is
that,
that
like
really the only
NQ
way
closed.
to push
I mean,
back?
NQ,
If he is programming
MNQ
this
barely
like it's a
closed to
reality
it.
television
Wasn't
show,
that much.
does that then mean that there has to be counter programming, images, ways of
All
humanizing
right, we're about to go
people,
on.
telling their stories, showing an
20
alternative
minutes since open
perspective
here.
or literal angle, camera angle on a moment is that the responsibility that falls on us now?
Yes, absolutely. It is so important for the American public to understand how these immigration enforcement actions are affecting babies, toddlers, children, families, ordinary people who contribute to every aspect of American life. And understanding this, building empathy for the people whose lives are
So if you
being
get an
completely
orb to the
destroyed,
upside,
might
orb
give
to previous day
those
high,
of us who care about what's happening a chance at the midterm elections.
All right, just stay with us for 1 second.
would be about a 1.8. It's takeable. 1.6 actually.
The 101. Jacob, you're familiar with the terrain there and obviously the importance of that highway. Talk to us a little bit about these images. I believe the highway now has been shut, and just within the last couple of minutes, we've also
With the quarter stand, with the quarter 25% stop loss, you can bring it to 2.5. 2.4, 2.5, depending on one standard deviation target to previous day high target. So that could be a good idea right there.
From where they're actually needed. Rescind the order, return control to California.
You're correct, Eamon. Those pictures.
Can you guys hear my daughters at all?
No.
As Governor Newsom issues
Okay,
the
cool.
state
Only a
that
tiny,
the
tiny
101
bit,
freeway,
not enough to.
As the chopper here from
issue.
KNBC pans out, that is the
Rails. Yep.
highway
Okay.
that runs straight through the
I can't hear it.
downtown Los Angeles. It is a main.
All right, M5 closed outside the range. No TBL.
And what you're watching
Not a trade
is
for
not
me.
an unfamiliar tactic to people who watch the local news here, to both protests and celebrations.
You would be taking along with
won the World Series,
NQ
when the
equal
Lakers have won
lows.
the championship. During other protests against law enforcement or other types of civil actions in Los Angeles, people have made their way down those on-ramps from the overhang where you're seeing at the top of your screen down to the freeway to stop traffic on the 101. And that is what we're watching play out right now. Part of the reason I think that you're seeing people down on the freeway, of course, is to draw attention, but also there was that.
So we got a less than a 50-point stop loss regardless, depending on where NASDAQ sets up and breaks an orb, if we break an orb.
Of your screen, and they're blocking.
I like that.
There's many black and white Los Angeles Police Department vehicles you can see there, and where those black and whites are at the top left of your screen is about where the entrance to
I don't know if I'll be trading today, but no worries. If you're not trading, it's all good.
if you were watching
Mondays are definitely decent days to not trade, especially when we're inside ranges like this.
into downtown Los Angeles. It's also where exactly where those black and whites are. There is a roll-up gate, metal gate that ICE uses to bring people in and out of the detention center there. Again, that building is known as the Metropolitan Detention Center. It's a federal facility run by the Bureau of Prisons, but ICE will and has been known to detain people that are picked up in its operations there. So what you're seeing is both the Metropolitan Detention Center, a very heavy local police presence by the Los Angeles Police Department, because
Officially 22 minutes since open.
Los Angeles, so it's their
No
jurisdiction.
time-based liquidity taken on NASDAQ. A few pseudo lows have been taken, but we do have equal lows now right at the orb 15-minute low.
Line that's set by the LAPD, and they have moved down onto the freeway, which if you've ever been to LA, you know that's going to be one heck of a traffic jam, but it's also a dangerous situation in all seriousness, because those people are down there and there are a lot of people in cars trying to get to wherever they're going on this Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles.
Jacob,
doesn't Data say not to take Monday? Yeah, it's either A, don't take it, or B, be quick with it. That's really the Monday data, because sometimes it'll work, but it'll work to one standard deviation or the next time-based liquidity level.
Situations begin to heat up, the ICE raids actually slow down and they move on to another city. I mean, this started a couple of months ago where it was pretty intense in Chicago. You mentioned the raid in Nashville. We're seeing it now in Los Angeles. But realistically, from a tactical point of view, how can an ICE operation in a city like Los Angeles continue when sentiments and tensions are running this high and you have one of the major freeways disrupted?
In secret is the answer, Eamon, and that's what Mayor Bass told me when I spoke to her on the phone earlier. You know, I asked her if she had any understanding or acknowledgement or heads up about the operations that ICE had conducted over the course of the last couple days. She didn't, nor did Governor Newsom's office when I was speaking to them yesterday around the time that I interviewed Tom Homan. they go out and they do these raids.
Peloton still looks really good.
When they can and without. I think it's, again, important to underscore the local law
I think
enforcement
Robbie's
in
still in
these
that.
cities, at least in Los Angeles, the LAPD, who you're looking at on your screen, and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department that polices the much larger Los Angeles County. LA City's got 4 million.
Joseph Solomon, so back to Como
10
Friday. People
cities
trying
within the
to
county,
pass
and the Sheriff's Department
evals
polices,
should use more risk. Yeah.
a lot of the unincorporated
And the problem is
cities,
I just see too many
cities,
people,
88 in LA
like,
County.
it takes them a
There's
little
lot of
too long
unincorporated
to pass
parts
the
of Los Angeles
evals.
County as well.
You don't make money with an
Now the
eval.
Sheriff's Department
And also
or
your risk is
LAPD
very low,
participates
relatively. It's
in
50
those
bucks.
immigration
If you
enforcement
pass it,
raids.
then it's
If
another
they were to
150, so 200 bucks
continue,
max.
there's just an educated
I think
guess.
people are
My
too scared to
guess
blow
is
up
it will happen
valuations.
without the knowledge of the local law enforcement.
I think you need to like double
move
or
forward
triple
in
your risk
areas
and
that,
start
as
trying to
you
pass
said,
faster. And if you
probably
blow the
are
account
not filled
in a
with
week, you just buy another one.
What is in the area
The
of these
game is
protesters, though,
literally
is the National
designed.
Guard that has been deployed
And again,
to protect that
I had a
metropolitan
different
detention center
opinion of
because
this
ICE is inside
just
that
a bit
building.
ago.
One other thing I just want to
Like,
point out,
like
I think that
a
I
month
saw
and a half
even
ago, I was saying
the California
differently.
Highway
Treat
Patrol, they have their own
treat
set
the
of black
eval
and
like you're
whites.
funded.
They're
I
in
think
charge.
I'm
Their
wrong on that
jurisdiction
idea.
there under the direction of the governor.
I think you
is the
need
highways
to
that
risk
go through
more, like
California.
literally
And
triple
so,
the amount and
if
pass
we
the
do see
accounts
a police
faster.
presence down there on
The whole
201,
time
it
while
most
you
likely the
are
Highway Patrol,
trying
while
to trade the
LAPD
eval,
maintains their positions
you have an
up
opportunity
above.
cost of good
And
market
from my
conditions
vantage
leaving
point
you
right
and good
now, again,
trades leaving.
we have
Like,
no
look, a
reason to
good
call
trade
this
on
a
eval
riot.
means nothing. You
We
don't
have
make
no
money.
reason to call this
If your goal is
violent.
to make money
Many of these
and you're taking good trades on
protesters
evals, it
stood
doesn't mean
peacefully
anything to
earlier
you.
today in Mariachi Plaza in Boyle Heights,
There's an
the
orb
historic,
break by about a point.
center of
So
immigrant
small.
Los Angeles, where at
Uh-huh.
one point it was a Japanese American community, a Jewish American community, and today it's known for being a largely the center of Mexican American.
Ty, something to caveat the eval thing with though, like, I think obviously for new traders, it's about developing good habits as well. Like they'll pass the eval by gambling and they'll trade that same on the combine and probably just blow it up. So that's the only other side of the argument is the discipline and habituals
Yeah.
for newer guys.
Yeah, and I do
absolutely agree.
think that if you're not able to discern between what to do on a funded and what to do on an eval, it poses a problem to risk higher on the eval. But for those people that can and or have, I think you do need to size up heavily in an evaluation phase and then move back to standard. Because like an eval is a game. An eval is literally a game. I see, and the problem is some people take like a month and a half to pass the eval, and I think that, we're looking at, a month and a half out of the 12 months you have in the year. I think it's just way too long. It's a lot of wasted time playing that game.
Could even just be a case of doubling or tripling risk, knowing that you just need to reduce it when you get to when you pass it kind of thing. That
Yeah.
That finished in 1 hour, just 2 or 3x it.
Yeah, it's like Yabby just said. It's either you have a quick pass or you fail and you move on. Like don't be scared of failing. Like fail the fucking account and just buy a new one and continue. It's $50. Like we're talking like $13 for bull knocks. When I look back and I consider the idea of the relative cost basis of these challenges and the way that they're treated sometimes, you quite literally gotta not gamble them, but definitely 3x. 2 to 3x the risk.
If you think of like we get 10R a month, if you want 5R to be like a pass, that'd be like $600 per. That means you only need 5R to pass. You could pass that within a week or two of stream trades.
Law firms. We saw several firms take that first path.
Yeah, so
the path of appeasing Donald Trump.
I am changing the way I think about evals. I always used to say treat the eval like you treat your funded, and I don't think that's actually the correct way anymore. I think that it has the right sincerity behind it and the right idea that I want you guys to be consistent. But I have seen some people who are still on their evals for like a month and a half, 2 months. And I'm like, it's just too long. You're going through 2 rebills. That's 150. You've tripled your risk now. Like if you go past a month, your risk is doubled.
Has been growing inside the offices of corporate executives. At least 11 big companies are moving work away from law firms that settled with the administration or are giving or intend to give more.
Yeah, if you're on Apex, just go all in on the trades for $16.
That's according to General Counsel.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to advocate for going all in, but we do need to understand like what we're trading. We're trading an evaluation demo account for less than $20 fucking dollars. That's less than you probably spend at brunch. Let's not fucking keep our brunch in the refrigerator for 30 fucking days, all right? Think about it like that. You're spending fucking $13 on Bull Knox. That's like a fucking iced large coffee at Starbucks. Let's not sip that hoe for 4 weeks. Come on now. And it took me a while to come to this conclusion because I don't trade evals anymore. I'm not trading evals, so I don't really, until I was when the last time I
This is a
was
short
back in fucking
story.
12 months ago or something. Let's not keep our leftovers in the fridge for 30 days. Like, eat the leftovers and move on. That's what you must do.
Indeed, to rule otherwise would be unfaithful to the judgment and vision of the
Nothing's into me, but I do like this has to this is like the reality of what I see. Some people are taking too long to pass evals. And it's probably because of what I said before, which is treat the eval like a funded. I believe that I'm incorrect on that idealism. And you literally need to risk like a lot more. Probably average 3 times more than you're normally risking. I mean, think about it. It's literally like that concept of you buy something for $13 and you fuck around with it for 4 weeks. No shot.
Don't have a hard line. They don't have any line at all, end quote. That is where we start the hour with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Voting rights attorney, founder
it's something
of
that I need more people to
Democracy.com,
understand
Mark
because
Elias is here. He's a former
I
partner
think
of
people
Perkins
take
Coie.
evals
Also
too
joining us,
serious.
investigative reporter for the New York Times, Mike Schmidt is here. Mike, you had the original reporting on the executive orders against the firms that capitulated and the ones that went to court.
Dynamite, why said, why didn't you take the orb?
prevailed.
I have no
I guess my
TBL
question for
sweep.
you, is there any remorse
Also, I'm very
communicated to
adverse to
you from the
taking any
firms that
trade
went
until I
down
see
and
the equal lows get
capitulated to
hit.
Donald Trump?
Well, there have been consequences for those firms. So Paul Weiss just a week ago lost.
Maybe I was wrong on that short. Let's just see.
Who decided to start their own law firm.
Yeah, look, if you're on Apex and you want to fucking full port your $16 account, I legit kind of have no qualms against that. Unless like $16 is a lot of money to you, then probably don't trade. But like thinking about like from a logical standpoint, there's like no risk. There's no risk. $16, $20, $40 to get access to the funded. Literally no risk at all. But some of us treat the evals like it's our money. And I think that's one problem that a lot of prop firm traders have is they think it's their money and they're like holding onto it for dear life. No, it's okay. It's literally like a Chipotle meal with double steak. Don't hold on to that. It's not precious to you.
But you were seen more favorably amongst fellow law firms.
Trust me, I talked to Kane and I talked to KJ. Both of them have had over like KJ's at like 600,000. Kane has over $1 million in prop firm profits. This is what they told me. I was asking them, like, why stay on prop firms? Or like I said, do you think you'll ever move to a personal account over prop firms? They're like, as long as prop firms are around, I'll probably never move over because I don't like they can't trade a personal account the same. The prop firm is a game. It's a literal game. And the gamify effect comes in the risk profile you take. And they understand that it is not exactly atypical of traders to come in and treat it like it's a game. Most people are atypical and they'll treat it like it is their account. They'll treat it like it's their money. And after listening to these guys talk about this and the way that they see the prop firm accounts, you have to see it as a game. You can't see it as your own money. This will disconnect the parity you have between a personal account and a prop firm, and you need to trade them differently. Yeah, they blow XFAs all the time. Yeah, KJ, Kane, JadeCap, all these guys with massive payouts, like they've blown, like I believe they've all spent over $10,000 in prop firm accounts. Evals, fundeds, refunding, buying eval again, passing, getting payout, blowing it.
become its own word that embodies cowardice.
There's a
and
common
capitulation. It's
denominator
something that
between
has
people who
always
make
stood
a
for
lot of money on
Democratic
prop firms and the
politicians
way
priorities, who
they
goes an unbending
decide
knee to the Oval
to
Office. He
treat their
has his own
accounts,
word for the
especially with a risk
individual.
profile.
It's also turned
Is
out
that
to
a
be
write-off?
business
Yes, they are,
bet.
because they're
And that
1099.
feels in some ways like as big or perhaps the bigger
Yeah,
part of
KJ
this
said he spent
journal
50K on
reporting.
accounts this year. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, in addition to what Mike
like, I'm
said,
trying to
one
give you
more
guys
category,
the
judges.
brutally
It's funny.
honest,
I think it
and
may
I'm
be the judges that kick
specifically
this off
going
because
out and talking to
judge
people
after
who are
judge
on the
after
top
judge
leaderboards.
that was
And
called
we
to
can even talk to
review
Jaden. He's on the leaderboards
the
for these prop
lawsuits
firms and
brought
what
by
they
the law
do.
firms
They
that
don't
fought.
treat it.
Not
These
only
prop firms are not treated like their
the
accounts. It's
administration
not their
not
money.
only said
They have
that
no
Fauci's
attachment to it,
executive order
which means they can
was
risk
unconstitutional
heavier
illegal,
and they
but
can
were
just
quite
buy them
critical
back with
of
the
law
payouts
firms
they
that
get,
capitulated.
and they just
So if
recycle
you're
fast. I
out
mean,
there
you
looking
get
for a
one
lawyer
account, you make,
and you're
let's say,
looking to hire the
$2,000 off it,
best,
then you
and
blow
these
it.
folks are
You have
charging you $3,000
$2,000
an hour,
in
right?
now
Are you gonna
buffer
pay
room to keep
someone
purchasing
that
accounts.
the judges
Yeah,
are
spend
looking down
50K
on?
to make a
Are you
million.
gonna pay
Like, yeah,
someone
who
who's,
wouldn't
you
do
know,
that?
maybe gonna
And
have
also, it's not
taken
really spending
punches,
50K. Like, you're recycling
against
prop
the
firm payouts.
administration? Are you looking for someone who will sacrifice being tough to save their own skin and make their lives a little easier? Or are you going to go with the folks who stand up and fight hard every single
Fong
day?
Yang
and
Lam
put
said,
that-
"Are we going to get
and
a
so it is
stream
a
on how to
business
pass
story. It
evals?"
is
Yeah,
a
definitely.
purpose
So
story. The
every
fact
red
is
folder
that
or
what
big
Paul
red
Weiss
folder,
was counting
Nick's
on,
actually
what
will be
Graham
hosting a
Clark was
live
counting
stream
on,
for you guys
is
in the
that
Discord,
in a news
FYI,
cycle
of
where
how
things
to
move
pass
very, very
instantly. If
fast,
you want to
people
pass
would
instantly,
think it was
we
distasteful
have a
what they
method
did,
for you.
but that it was smart, it was savvy, it was
So that's the
clever,
idea.
and that in the end,
And
the ends
NFP.
justified
Yes,
the
just
means. And
exactly.
instead,
CPI and
they
2
NFP.
times
So
a
it's
month.
like craven
yeah,
fools
every
and gutless
bi-weekly.
cowards, and it hasn't gone away. The stench of what they have done has not gone away. Here's the deal, Nicole. I was sued by
You would
Donald
have to use
Trump
either
for
Bullinox
racketeering,
or
and he
Apex, no
bowed
Top
down
Step.
on
You
it
could
for
do
it. We won.
half
You know,
half
he
of the
sent
account
Durham
pass in one day for
and
Top
some
Step.
after me, and
But
I
if you want to
didn't
do
fight. I
just
didn't
single
back
trade,
down.
single
I
day
stood
pass,
up. I told the
it'll
truth,
be Bullinox
and
Order
or
filled.
Apex.
to tell the tale. And when they went after law firms, then they
Yeah,
mentioned
this
me,
week is
and they
CPI. So if you guys
gave a
want to get
speech about me,
accounts,
and he issued an
look for
executive
cheap
order that
accounts on
mentioned me. I
Apex,
issued a
Bullinox,
statement
anything like
saying
that.
very clearly we
And
would never negotiate with the White
you can
House.
try
We would
try
not
it. It
call
is not a
punches.
guaranteed
What we
though.
did
Like Sim
and
just
who
said,
we
he's
represented
0 for
is
3
our business
for
and not
trying
the
that
White House's.
method,
And you know what? I haven't heard from them since.
which is unfortunate.
I mean, Mike, is there something in here that the firms that capitulate can learn from? That if what they were seeking was to save their asses, they are completely exposed.
Yeah, it's not.
because
You
Donald
don't
Trump
buy
saw
or
some
sell
weakness, that
preemptively.
they're
You
in
set
more
buy and
danger
sell
now
limits
as law
because it's a
firms,
typically
because
one-sided
even
move.
Donald Trump doesn't respect weakness.
Yeah, so then if it blasts off and goes 100 points, it already puts you in as it's moving higher, and then you collect your 100 points, and then you look to go, and then you just get out really fast. It's like a very fast trade.
Yeah.
And agreed to represent people no matter their political persuasion.
Dynamite. I'm waiting for the London low or the London high, either one to trade off of.
Yeah, pretty much. Or break, a better or break.
I mean, to be fair, this like kind of M5 ILM's not doing much. Like we don't exactly have a massive recovery right now. We don't have an instant time-based equation. Like, it's 7 a.m. It is 7:10 a.m. right now.
We have already
Like
We haven't
40
done a
minutes.
damn thing.
We have 40 minutes gone. We have nothing going on right now.
He has said that the pro bono legal work can be used towards trade.
Someone said, "Can you do a top-down analysis on BTC?" Yeah, sure.
To be used for his own personal legal
I did this yesterday, but we'll
And
we'll run it up
haven't
again.
seen examples yet of Trump call into those firms to activate.
So Bitcoin probably has some of the best analysis to learn from right now, and I can teach you guys it all very fast, probably under 5 minutes. All right, first things first. I'm sure you guys see it. A massive daily gap.
Trump thinks the commitments they have made. And at that point, they will have no
We had a huge sweep come into this, which was when I was shorting ETH.
got judges to step in and issue orders
We hit this point of liquidity, massive sweep instantly from this H4 gap.
is dust off the old
Boom.
executive order and sign it again and put a new date on it.
Instantly
and it
into
will
the
be
highs.
effect. And
This
at that
one's the
point,
load.
Someone like Paul Weiss would be back at square one and would have to decide whether
Instantly
to
into the
make
high.
another deal.
Probably another fair value gap formed in an hour, and we're just going to continue this trend. Again, like I said, I'm bullish on the markets now, which is I love it. When I say I'm bullish, the markets love to start moving. So Bitcoin right now, the current top-down analysis is bullish back to the highs because we had a rate of the lows and a delivery from the bullish fair value gap. We currently are pretty much holding at least a 50% of this range. So here's the previous range we had, low, high. We're definitely holding above the 50%, which means I believe we have a breakout soon. And because I think this, I also believe like most alts should start to get purchased. So like I mean, you guys know the list I bought. Like all these AVAX, Maker, BCH. Some of these are doing really well right now. XRP. So you guys know what I'm buying, but eventually I believe Bitcoin dominance slows down, and that's kind of all we have to wait for is if it does, what will move, and will we be exposed at the right time to profit from it.
Dropped a political bombshell in the form of a warning to the country about Donald Trump that resonates to this hour on this day.
Yeah, there's spot positions, but again, you can use futures for it if you want to increase your margin. It actually doesn't matter if you use futures or spot market. Spot, you're just going to end up buying, let's say you do $10,000 on spot, there's London high on NQ.
Order filled.
And a possible orb break.
That could be the first one. If you have $10,000 on spot, you could just put, you know, $1,000 on 10x and have the exact same equity. So it doesn't exactly matter which one you do.
The executive order revoked their security.
The risk to reward for orb isn't great here.
With investigating both Miles Taylor and Chris Krebs. According to Miles Taylor,
there's an orb close. You only got a 1.4 R to the previous day high.
Are still actually independent, or that they too have been taken off the playing.
Okay, so I'm
Markets
looking
are
at
bullish.
this. I
Let's
see
look in the only direction that we can.
NQ or NQ is breaking out.
ES actually has not taken its highs yet. Hold
I
on.
think ES will follow. So what I'm going to do is...
Wow. Okay, so probably the most extreme SMT I've seen in a while.
Anti-democratic.
ES is so far off its highs right now. Let me go over
Order
1%.
filled.
25th Amendment had the entire country, or at least yours truly.
So bearish
wondering
SMT
exactly how the
at this
25th
break.
Amendment would work.
So this trade is still valid. Trade number one.
Political earthquake. Watch.
10
Trade number
points
two
off.
on NQ. We closed it earlier. So this one was not.
No, we did not trade this orb right here because we did not get a close above, no displacement above London highs. And also the risk to reward was only a 1 point. So like when we got the orb here, it was a 1.4 to previous day high and a 1.6 to the
But the orb is broken. So in this case,
to the 1 standard deviation. And so when it's that low risk to reward, then we tend not to trade the orb.
that we're going to take it, we have to take it.
Also on a half rose, just get 0.7 max reward.
Yeah. Plus our data shows that Mondays aren't the best for the orb.
Very chaotic Trump White House confirmed what we thought we were seeing from the outside, that there was an active high-level resistance within the Trump administration to Donald Trump's worst impulses and whims.
Still no ILM on ES.
Would not happen in a second.
Bearish SMT at the highs. We have a
Taylor wrote this, quote, people I spoke with
15-minute candle closing about 2 minutes here.
Under another MAGA president.
The 15-minute and the 1 hour, the draw for me, the draw on liquidity is the previous day high though.
Yeah, it is.
Mass resignations will be
Very clear draw on liquidity. So I don't really want to even look for a short here until we get to this level.
Against the commander-in-chief. Those mass
I'll tell you, the long I do like.
2.0
I like the gold long right now.
Against Taylor himself.
I do too. Somebody was asking me about that. There's I think it's a 1 hour ILM.
Upend his life.
I think there's a 1 hour and then there's an H4.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge ILM on gold for the 1 hour.
Yeah, really like this as well.
On a list of people targeted by the Trump administration, a list
of
includes big law firms.
No, I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to trade GC, guys. I'm not going to trade GC. I know. I told you guys to clown me if I trade GC. Don't worry.
Taylor calls
I
the
will
first
only
quote,
trade the gold
the
options.
scalpel
No
that they'll use
GC
to ruin the
trading.
lives of individuals. The
I
president
see
Okay, so
Lawrence
let's
was already
recap.
prepped.
a first step in fighting back.
I like to
Trade
see
number
that. You guys
one
got
is this
consistency.
long here that's still active.
Tim, we don't want to take the reversal from the orb until
number
we take
two
out the previous
was
day
a
high.
short here.
I don't want to see any sort of reversal
Double
because the
bottoms.
draw on a higher time
Very
frame
easy orb
is this
break.
previous day high. So we're trading against that draw if we look for a short from a failed orb.
So a couple places to consider where we might get some
What is he trying to do to you and your
Yeah, if you're on an
friction.
eval and
It's just gonna
you
be
want to
within
take it,
here.
that's the type of time where you would take the orb like this with the eval.
And for what it's worth, though, we have this. I'm not sure if
second.
this is a bit further away, but I'd still say it's a valid target.
And that's what some of his officials have said is the point of these
Yeah, go ahead and shoot your shot each time with the eval. Your risk is low. On funded,
to a certain
you
extent,
can't.
That works. I mean, in the immediate wake of this, I'm the sole income earner in my household. I had to leave my job. My wife, who stayed at home with our daughter, had to return to work so that we can buy diapers, so we can buy formula, so we can pay the mortgage. We had to go launch a legal defense fund because we don't think we can pay for the legal bills for this type of thing. And then there's the security threats, which I know you're all too familiar with, but you get crazies coming out of the woodwork from the MAGA side who will dox you and your family members and send threatening messages.
So that's a perfect example of when you would take this with the eval versus a funded. The risk to reward isn't great, but the model's still there, and it helps you build confidence in the model as well.
Name a guardian for your daughter. I will tell you, that's not something you take lightly when you're sitting there with your wife and a lawyer signing documents to name a guardian in case the worst happens, because we don't know what's going to happen. That's how serious it is, and that's just being named on the blacklist. Charges haven't happened yet. They haven't raided our house yet, but that's what it looks like in modern day America when the president adds you to that list.
What do they think they're looking for if they proceed to try to scrounge through your life?
That's a big question, because normally if you see some sort of criminal case or federal review taking place, you sort of know what they're looking into. Look, if you stole money from the petty cash drawer, you know you stole money from the petty cash drawer. In this case, it's an investigation without a predicate. It's an investigation meant to just be punitive. When this happened the day after, Wall Street Journal came out and they called it a fishing expedition, and that's sort of how we feel that this is proceeding. We have no idea what they're going to try to find, but I can remember being in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, and I think I've shared this with you before, as he talked about how in business, you don't
BK, S3 by not taking orb on money, the data won't change. Yeah, it's very true. The data won't change at all.
And he said that to us. He talked about
We currently have
leverage, and I suspect that's what they're trying to do right now.
12 and 23.
Not just to us,
We had 35 trades on Mondays across the past year. So across the past 162 trades.
Raising money for a legal defense fund. What is that like?
But also, I'm not about to take an orb with a low risk to reward like that anyway, regardless of what day it is.
Are they trying?
Yeah, and to be fair, we'll take Monday
paying
orb
more,
trades
as
if
you
it's
said, just to have time to
fantastic.
get to
Time-based liquidity sweep
Gimme,
into
gimme,
orb
push, push,
long,
push, push.
obvious
Step,
draw,
step, crush,
previous
crush,
day
crush.
high, no SMT, over 2R risk to reward offered. Then everything makes sense. But if we have no TBL, bearish SMT, poor risk to reward, previous day high is the obvious draw. Do you take it? I mean, definitely not a full risk trade. So contextually speaking, yeah, even though it's Monday, it's not the only reason you don't take the trade.
That means we're going to have to take
Yep,
more
filled up
precautions
support, 2
if we're out
scoops.
there. But this is just wrong.
My bad.
And one
Okay,
of
so
the
here
things I
we
think
go.
people don't
Trade number
realize is
one.
the fear in the legal community.
So trade
right
number
now
3,
makes
first
it
target
very,
is
very
hit.
hard for someone to go get the representation they need. Now, I'm lucky. I've had incredible people
Jewel
like
is
Andy
giving
Lowell,
us
who represented
1 minute.
Biden,
Jewel
Jared
is
Kushner,
in the
Hunter
critical
Biden,
zone,
all across
but
the
I'm
aisle,
still,
and a lot of
I
different
feel
fantastic people come
confident
forward
that we can
to help.
continue.
But what if you're number 25 on that list? What if you're
What
number
would
60
be
on that
What about
list?
London low sweep by lamb? That would be the goal.
Will you be able to get the legal support you need?
Would be
I would
if
enjoy that, but we didn't take it on
They've launched
NQ.
something called
we came back for a retest.
endpresidentialrebellion.org as a place
We'll see.
to go raise funds for people who are targeted for their public service by this White House. But if it wasn't for that support,
we'd be in a very, very difficult position. And our first thought,
We got
I'm
close.
not
I think
gonna
we were
lie,
like
we
a
sat there
point
at
and
the
a half
kitchen table
away.
After this order dropped, we were in the driveway when it happened, and we went inside, and Hannah looked at me and she said, "Do you think we're going to lose the house?" And I said, "I don't know.
What is your...
This is just wrong." And one of the things I think people don't realize is the fear in the legal community right now makes it very, very hard.
Somebody said every time I fade the orbit flies, it flies theoretically, but I mean, look at the risk to reward. Think about it as a risk to reward standpoint more than just like, oh, it made X amount of move. It's only a 0.8 R.
But what if you're number 25 on that list?
At the highs is 1.4. So did it fly, or was how good was your risk? Would have been the risk to
I was
reward?
lucky an organization called Whistleblower Aid came forward. They've launched something called
Everything's a matter of perspective of risk.
as a place to go raise funds for people who are targeted for their public service by this White House. But if it wasn't for that support, we'd be in a very, very difficult position. And our first thought, I'm not going to lie, I mean, we sat there at the
Now it'd be 1.4 at PDH.
Yeah, if it would have been 1.8, we would have taken it. But 1.4, 1.5, I'm not taking that.
driveway when it happened, and we went inside, and Hannah looked at me and she said, "Do you think we're going to lose the house?"
Nah, still Philip, still 50%. We don't have enough data on the candle below the break or the quarter to take it religiously yet.
I said, "I don't know."
What is
Like if you would have
your
tried
sort of
50% with the
day-to-day?
first
Like,
orb
how
break,
much are you
it would
looking
have
at the
worked.
horizon of when this...
If you would have tried the quarter, it would have failed. So if you would have just done the first orb break here, we got a technical.
Mario Ramirez beginning our
no.
team coverage. He's live in downtown LA with more on what the situation looks like.
If we would have gotten a used the 50% orb break right now, we would be about a 1R.
Demonstrators, and as they're called agitators, have moved out of the area here at East and Temple, but there is still a heavy
Order would have gotten
police
stopped.
presence from multiple agencies. I want to show you, this is again at the corner of Temple and Main Street, and we've been seeing Glendale, Inglewood,
No, that was my daughter.
Burbank, City of Bell, Monterey Park, and El Segundo law enforcement cruisers passing through this area. The street littered with trash. These officers met with demonstrators who started sparking criminal activity here, throwing objects, tagging buildings, and looting some downtown stores here.
Yeah, Neptune, you're not wrong. As much as I would prefer a lot of people to size up, even gamble on the evals, most of the time they're all going to continue the same facets of trading within the funded. It's different to split the thought process between an evaluation and your funded account. But if you can, perfect. I mean, that's what all the anyone that's pulled $1 million plus profit for props has done that. So that's the goal.
What are
Is
you
it
watching?
difficult? Absolutely.
What's up?
Yeah, of course.
What are you watching? It's just some weird Instagrammer.
Nice, Daryl. Sick.
The right way to do it is just let it be. Let the community live by its own.
Trying to get home. I just left the office and it's been complete chaos out here. I came through the Chinatown.
Yeah, if this, and this is I think one of the problems we had from the last week trades. If this M5 ILM took the London lows, we'd be in this right now.
It's almost like a third world country out here. I can't believe I would see this in the streets.
We'd be taking this trade into the highs, but
Call of Duty or something.
we are surrendering to the data. No raid, can't trade.
Sunday morning after President Trump ordered their deployment, and this activity unfolding as the governor continued to publicly criticize Trump, accusing the administration.
Yeah, it does get annoying sometimes. If we don't get the raid and we don't take the entry and it just continues to TP, you just watch in agony.
Someone accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at officers, another allegedly ramming a police line with a motorcycle, injuring 2 officers, and again, multiple closures here at intersections in the downtown area. For now, that's the latest here downtown. I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
You don't care about the SMT we had at London Low?
Out there covering this is what we can and cannot
No, I think it's
show,
fine. I
and
mean, definitely a solid bullish SMT. ES takes lows, NQ doesn't,
really hard to kind of
signifying
maneuver around
reversal in
that
the
as we
stronger
try to
asset.
show people what is going on exactly.
Yeah, and we've seen it for a few blocks. Nearly every building, every sidewalk or structure is tagged, and they do contain expletives.
What do you think we'll be able to 1R again? Oh, no, the goal is before June 18th, but guaranteed after June 18th.
On so many buildings downtown.
All right.
The whole idea is to not lose any of the money you already made. The number one problem most traders have is they're able to pull a profit. Pulling a profit's not difficult in trading. Keeping it and not taking consistently low parameter trades is where you start losing your money.
Gigi, good morning.
Very easy to make money. Very, very difficult to keep it. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing right now, is trying to keep the money I just made and wait until the conditions are pretty much picture perfect.
With expletives, mainly against ICE Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. Now, you're looking at the T-Mobile store. Board up folks who were here all morning long working the store was looted. Police confirmed.
Yes, Sandra.
How many people broke in, unclear, and what they took, that'll have to come from T-Mobile once they do an inventory.
Only futures
but the store
props.
was damaged, and again, every single window broken. And this
The more mechanic you are, the better. Yeah, I mean, at least it removes all your emotions. Someone could have the, fully discretional model and do very well just because they're able to control their emotions. Mechanical helps because there's no emotions involved. It's if A, then B. And if not A, then C. Instead of you adding discretion within that. It's difficult for a lot of people to have discretion in their trades and be profitable because they'll make mistakes. They'll have regret, leads to FOMO, over trading, maybe over leveraging, and then the account's blown. Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things to teach someone is the psyche behind continuing to do the same thing over and over. I think there's certain careers and jobs that allocate a lot of bandwidth to this ability. Those in the military, I think they do very well in trading. Coming out of a extremely disciplined career path, I think you do very well.
As immigration officers, they are police officers just trying to keep the peace here in downtown LA. Now, there is a
discretion all comes with, I mean, you can see it with our models. Discretion is massive with what we do.
Right now, in addition, of course, to
but I can never recommend discretion to beginners. Trying to teach a beginner discretion is insane. It's like trying to teach a newborn baby like trigonometry. It's not going to work.
As we see a lot of things just evolve as people see on social media and start gathering at certain places. So we'll watch that situation today. Gigi, thank you.
All right, let's show you this. Several driverless Waymos set on fire. This was yesterday. At least 5 driverless taxis were summoned to Los Angeles Street between Arcadia and Alameda. It was about 5 in the afternoon. That's when a group of agitators slashed the tires, smashed the windows, and tagged those vehicles before torching them. Authorities let the cars burn themselves out because of the release of toxic gases from the vehicle's lithium-ion batteries.
Well, President Trump spoke to reporters.
Yeah,
about
mechanical does feel
the
very
National
safe.
Guard, and sending more guardsmen
Jaden
to
has any
LA.
streams in here? Yeah,
He
Jaden
also
streams in
spoke
here.
of sending Marines.
We're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen
We're
to our
getting-
country. We're not going
this
to let
looks
our
like we're
country
done.
be torn apart like it
So I need
was
to
on
take
the
off
fight
some risk here.
at
with
this auto pen.
Do I think Albert Einstein was taught trigonometry as a baby?
Marines is what I
No.
think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
So here is the latest. President Trump has deployed 300 National Guard troops without the governor's approval. Law enforcement has used tear gas, rubber bullets to disperse crowds. Protesters have thrown fireworks, cemented police and federal troops. Governor Newsom has called the deployment a serious breach of state sovereignty and demanded.
Yeah, don't trade Forex or
And we wanna
Euro
let you know that the LA
USD at all.
Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho will hold a news conference this morning on immigration enforcement activity across LA. This will be happening at 9:30 this morning at LAUSD headquarters.
Yeah, ES
When
still
that,
massive S&T,
takes
no
place, we are going
upside
to
break.
bring
You can
that
see
to you
ES
live.
broke
Again,
its
that's
high
at
here at London
9:30
highs.
this morning.
Also happening today, right now.
ES's
live
London
look at
highs are
LAX
here
as
at
President
4:35
Trump's new
a.m.
travel
Still
ban
hasn't
goes
broken
into
it.
effect later on today. It impacts
Bearish S&T still in
citizens
place.
from 12 countries
Nothing
considering
exactly
high risk for terrorist
stopping
activity
it. There's
by
still
the White
previous
House.
day high
They
very
does
close that
include
price should get to.
Afghanistan, Haiti.
Opportunity to be able to brief the public a little bit about what's going on and what we've been doing, and ask truly an ask for peace throughout our city. I'm joined
Do you
here
think we
by
reject from previous
Joe
day high?
Woodyard, Deputy Chief
I don't know. I'll have to
from
wait and see.
Operations West Bureau, Herman Hurt.
Of course, I would love it.
Barbara,
The
you
bias
first here. Where
says.
does the Trump
Yeah, that
administration
would be
stand
great.
legally here? Because Trump has mobilized the National Guard without a request from the state's governor, and that is the.
You have a small BPR. This could lead to downside movement. Again,
joining us on the
we
phone
literally have
right
to
now,
wait.
LA County Sheriff Robert Luna, thank you for joining us tonight.
I know you guys hate waiting.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. First question for you is, I know you have
It
been
is now
very
1
vocal
hour
about
since market
saying
open.
Your
Still
men
no
and women at the
time-based
department
liquidity
are there to
on
protect
NQ.
public safety. So
Bearish
tell me
S&P is
how
still
you're
inactive.
feeling
Previous day
tonight
high has not
as
been
the
hit
leader
yet.
of this group, and what happens going
There's only
forward?
been one small trigger, which is a pseudo ILM, so not a
tonight
proper
at
one,
approximately 6 p.m.
which
the
sits
Los
at
Angeles
somewhere
Police
around
Department
the
requested,
level of
assistance from the Sheriff's Department.
1
We
to
sent
1.5
well over 100
on half,
of our deputies into downtown
7.5.
LA. I think a lot of your coverage is seeing that. We're going to be sending even more. I also requested formal mutual aid from
Someone
the
said we're
rest
doing
of
anything with
LA
Tesla.
County and outside
No, I talked about
county
Tesla on Sunday.
agencies. You're going to start seeing a
Still,
lot
I
of
mean,
other
I'm not
agencies
buying
coming
more
into
Tesla.
downtown,
I'm not going to sell
Los
my current
Angeles,
Tesla. I'm
along
still up
with even
around
more additional
like
CHP
18 to 20% on my shares.
so
So
just a warning to everybody.
I'm not
out
stressed
there.
about it. I think
You
there's
know,
a huge
earlier
major
today, there
overreaction
were some
for government
legitimate,
subsidies. People think that Trump's going to like just deny all
exercising their
EV
First
government
Amendment
subsidies
rights.
to Tesla.
What we're
I don't
seeing
think
for
that's
the
going to
last
happen.
several
Of course,
hours and even now,
no,
a
I'm
lot
not the
of
Trump
unlawful
administration. They could
behavior.
easily do it.
We're
But
not going to tolerate it.
it sounds like
So
an
I
odd
really
choice
advise people
for
out
them to
there,
just
go
remove
home.
subsidies that
It's
have been
over,
there for a long
for
time.
tonight. If you don't, part
And
of
that's
the
why I
assistance
believe
that I'm sending, to our brothers
someone says
and
it is
sisters at LAPD
it is ended. It's not in the bill.
Sheriff,
So they did end the
booking team.
subsidies.
They are capable of booking many people at one time. So unless you want a
If the
free
bill
night
passed,
in
yeah.
jail
Well, there you
tonight,
go. I mean, yeah, we
go
don't
home.
we don't know if the bill's going to pass. That's
to
the whole thing.
stop
Everyone's kind of waiting for.
destroying our
Is
city,
we have all this
stop,
turmoil between
committing
these
acts of
giants.
violence,
This
against
bill could
our
be
police
really
officers
bad.
and deputy
They can
sheriffs.
modify it, bring it back
this
to
needs to
Congress.
Stop, man.
I don't know.
It makes our city look horrible.
Literally nobody
it's
knows.
a really unfortunate sight, Sheriff.
Again,
Jonathan Gonzalez here
fortunately
with you as
waiting.
well, and we want to
Any
thank you
chance
for your
gold
time for
recovers?
speaking
Yeah, of
with
course.
us. The big question tonight, and it was asked of Chief McDonnell. We just talked to Mayor Bass about the possibility of a curfew. Mayor Bass indicated, look, this is just a few isolated intersections there in only downtown LA, but is that something that is an ongoing discussion? Our Carmen Dickerson also just brought it up a few moments ago. Is that something that you guys are considering at this point, or are you just trying to get these few people who are left here on the street into custody?
Curfew is always a very effective tool that's always on the table for us. I think all of you saw that during the fires, because we had some issues with looters, we used that very effectively.
Have you ever traded meme coins? Yeah, absolutely. I have.
Conversations have been taking place with county leaders.
Previous day highs and swept on all
city
CFD
leaders.
brokers.
So,
Really?
I
Actually, got swept on
we're ready to roll
now.
with it right now. Not exactly.
I made a mistake on
PDH
my
sweep.
managing
Also,
the
it's a
break.
BPR.
By all the awesome work that the deputy sheriffs and police officers are doing. And like I said earlier, we got a lot more coming in. And the goal is to bring peace and calm back to the downtown area. And,
Absolutely.
What I was also going to
Order
say
filled.
just really quick,
And the
please
mistake I
keep in
made
mind
with the
that
oil break
apart from the
was
downtown
this-
area,
it was
There's
an
your
account
first
are providing
thing.
police
Roll
services
So I had
to the
a
rest of the
hit
county of Los Angeles.
position that was
and even the
open
Or
city
been
of
here,
Los
playing out
Angeles.
but
for
We've
was
what
got
not
looks to
911 calls
be
coming in.
but I
There's a
didn't
lot
keep
of
the
work
order
on
1.65 R.
Oh, we
No,
know.
sorry,
We work on weekends.
0.65
It's
R.
very
But,
busy. I mean, we're at a busy area all the time.
because this is not
I'm just
necessarily
wondering,
resolved yet.
I know you're a brotherhood and sisterhood, all of the organizations, CHP,
Yeah,
LAPD,
BPR
everybody
is
works
too
together,
different.
and you do help out
Fair
in
value gaps are
situations.
overlapping.
How
In
does
this
it make
case,
you
you have
feel
a Bulletin Bearish
as a
one
longtime law
on, I
enforcement
think it's the
official
15.
to see officers attacked the way
This just means
they
there's a high
were
likelihood
today
price will be
and to see
auctioned off at
vehicles
this level.
destroyed?
It hurts.
Yes.
All your viewers need to keep in mind if the family.
There it is on
police
micros
officers,
as well.
You can imagine you
Previous
send
day
your
high.
loved ones
Congrats
to
if you
work,
took the orb.
You're watching TV. You're just praying that they don't get seriously hurt or injured.
So M&Q is running
it's a tough
far
job,
behind
and our
on
people
NQ.
are doing amazing work out there. I'm very proud of them.
So it took them a few
and that's
moments
why I really,
to catch
when
up.
you look at the
Bearish
protest,
SMT is still in
again,
place.
we
We
condone the
do not
First
have a
Amendment,
high of day
right
sweep
to
or even a
do
London
so.
sweep on
But
ES.
the minute you start
Which then leads us to the
attacking
next
police
portion of this,
officers,
which is previous day high.
that sends the wrong
It's
message.
right here.
And you know, I
And we
believe
still
there's a
haven't hit that.
legitimate reason to
So
protest.
NQ leading the race today.
But this is not sending the right message. It's actually the absolute wrong message. And a lot of people out there are watching this going, what the heck are these folks doing? That is not how we make progress, specifically with this very challenging issue of immigration.
Oh, here it is.
There it is. Sheriff Luna, we heard Mayor Bass say this hasn't been a protest in several hours now. And we know that you are a passionate supporter of the First Amendment, but when it becomes violent like this, all that goes out the window. Talk about the misconceptions that you've been dealing with, your
Nice, good
department,
job, Nate.
the LAPD, about your role in federal immigration enforcement, which
Yeah,
is
anyone
to
that took
say
it, good
that
job.
for decades now, you guys have no role in federal
Definitely an
immigration
eval play.
enforcement.
That's correct. The LA County Sheriff's Department policy is that we do not engage in civil immigration enforcement. That is.
Do you still recommend charting NQ and
policy.
trading
We follow state
micro
law.
NQ? Even though it
County,
can mess up some trades, should we
policy is
just
even
chart?
more
Yeah.
strict than that.
So if you're trading
Now,
MNQ, you're going to have to
we
be on
do
MNQ
that
chart.
because,
We've
one,
seen
we
it
don't
like
have the
maybe
training
6
or the
times in the past
personnel,
year where
or
it
the
can like mess
time,
up an
to
entire
do
play
that
by
because
front
we're
running
so
it.
busy doing other things. Now, please know that when people
Someone said we have a
commit
fair value
crime,
gap of NQ
whether
and
they're immigrants or
MNQ
not,
we don't. This is true.
we're going to take appropriate action. And our deputies are very successful at reducing crime and taking the right people to jail. And that's important because I think there's this misconception that, you know,
They look
all
about the same right
immigrants
now.
are committing crime, violent crime or serious crime. That's just the
Okay,
facts
one
don't
entire
prove that
hour
right.
since market
It's
open.
not correct.
We have now
but I
hit the
do
draw for the
support
session, which is
the
previous
fact
day
that
high. So we knew that price
there
wanted
are
to travel
individuals,
here in one way or
that,
another from Orb,
with due process,
the
probably
almost
need to be
M5
removed
island
from
from the
our
lows.
community when they are violent criminals.
So close. It was so close to being
sex offenders and things of that nature. But there's
the
a
auto
difference.
entry.
There's a difference, as they say, between crooks and cooks. We
Can
don't
you
want to be taking
retest
the
of that
cooks, the maids,
M5
and the
ILM as
gardeners,
well?
into custody, and because of our rich history here with immigration in Los Angeles, that's why you see all the anger out here, and I understand that.
And Sheriff Luna, we asked this of Mayor Bass, too. What do you say to the people who might have business in downtown LA tomorrow, have to go to work? How do they stay safe as we go forward?
That's, again, an excellent question. I would have them check their local news in the morning.
We run the previous
we'll do
week high. That
everything
would be the
we
next
can,
draw
to
if
put
we
out the appropriate
displace and close a
information.
15-minute candle
I believe,
above this
with
previous
all
day
the
high.
resources
I would
we
say
have here
this previous
now
week
and
high
the
would be our
more that
next
are
level to
coming
look
in,
for.
and the strategies we have to make mass arrest, I think we will make this area safe for people coming in tomorrow. But then everyone needs to be aware that, from my understanding, there are several protests that are planned for the downtown area again tomorrow.
There's a very small
We,
3-minute
as a
ILM here
department,
that
working
could
with other
form.
departments, are preparing for that. So just remain vigilant. If, for example, maybe call your employer.
We're really looking for this
and
5-minute to
make
form
sure
one as
that
well.
it's going to be safe for everybody to go to work. But our job is to keep
5
these
minutes
streets
lost
safe
3 minutes.
and make sure that people can come in, do their work, shop, go to restaurants, and do everything they can. And business owners are always very welcome to call, whether it's us at the Sheriff's Department or the LAPD, just to make sure that everything's going to be okay.
Sheriff Luna, to your point, Los Angeles is a city of immigrants, has always been. It's such a
We're
beautiful
actually about to
thing
invert
for that, and that's why
this
there's so much fear
1
in the
hour fair value
community
gap that
about
we've
this
been
ongoing
holding.
What it's
federal
worth.
immigration
So if we invert
enforcement.
that,
I mean,
we
we're
could also
expecting,
see
according to
previous
the
week
Trump
high
administration
there.
and you know the border czar Tom Homan saying they're expecting weeks
Would be
of
this
this, at
fair
least a
value
month
gap right
worth of
here. We
orders.
rejected
How
from it
you're
on
going to see
Thursday,
passionate
Friday, it looks,
protests,
or on
but how
Friday.
do we prevent
And now we're
the
starting
kind
to
of
dip it.
violence
So
that
if
we're
we
seeing
got 30
tonight
minutes
in
left in this
downtown
1
LA?
hour
How do we
candle.
prevent this from happening
We
again
invert this
tomorrow,
and
Tuesday,
close
and so on?
above previous day high,
I
then we'll
think
look for
we
previous week
consistently
high.
communicate with our communities and maybe show videos and pictures of the destruction.
1 hour looks
and
fire.
honestly, if you think about it, this may feed into.
But we got 30 minutes
somebody's
left to
perception,
determine the close.
That this
That's
city
what matters
needs to be
most.
cleaned up. From an immigration
Yeah, this SMT is
perspective,
probably the,
we cannot.
I want to say the largest I've actually
we gotta
seen in the
send a
past
strong
few
message
weeks.
that this is not okay.
Not only have we
that
missed
there's a
previous day
different
high on
path,
the S&P 500,
to
we've also missed
success
London
or
high.
Working things out, living in the extremes of one direction or another is not the answer. We really need to work together, communicate together, and hopefully we find a good path forward.
All right. Sheriff Luna, thank you so much for joining us here on the NBC4 News tonight.
Thank you for
Is there a
having me.
3-minute?
Yes, have a good night.
Yeah, I'll short this. This will be my
We've been
only
talking
trade
a lot
today.
on the show lately about what
I
we
hate that my
can
only
teach each
trades
other
are
to
become
do
shorts,
to fight for
unfortunately,
democracy
against the EMA
in an
bias.
emboldened second Trump administration. It can feel overwhelming as Trump has returned to the White House. His allies control both houses of Congress, and
But
the
we have
Supreme
everything we
Court is
need.
stacked with a conservative supermajority that was shaped by his own 3 nominees.
Yes,
But as the
massive
saying
bearish
goes,
SMT. I mean,
the
it's a
only
double
way
set
out
bearish.
is through.
Previous
So
day
it
high
seems
not hit.
worthwhile to look
Also
for
London
advice
not
from
hit.
folks who have a
We're
lot of
inside of
experience
BPR
working
Nasdaq.
against the odds, against big
Previous day high
majorities and powerful
sweep,
forces.
maybe.
People
I don't
who've
think it's
resisted
swept
and
yet. We
persisted and
still have
learned
6
from
minutes.
each victory and defeat. Which brings us to Tennessee, a deep red state where Republicans control the governorship and both chambers of the legislature. A group of Democratic lawmakers staged a protest on the floor of the state house calling for gun control legislation that their Republican colleagues opposed. They didn't have the votes to pass it themselves, but they had their voices. Republicans then took the extraordinarily rare step of voting to expel 2 of those Democratic lawmakers from the legislature, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. They were both reinstated by local government officials, and then they were reelected by their constituents. And they're both still fighting. And one of them joins me now, the Democratic Tennessee State Representative
2 minutes
Justin Jones.
and 20
Welcome back to the
seconds. Still no
show,
closure.
sir.
Always honored to join you, brother.
I think it's important to remind people of your story
This is too
because
much
it's not
size.
like you got back in the legislature and you're surrounded by a bunch of friendlies who are high-fiving you for being back. You are still in there. You are still talking about
Look at that
things
fair value.
that are causing you to feel isolated, that are causing you to be
about
ostracized within that
4
environment.
points.
But you have that voice, and until they take it from you, you will continue to use it.
I mean, precisely. This is the time where
You're
we
using
must
half rest, correct?
remember that democracy requires
Yeah, I'll be half
change,
rest.
that we are facing a desperate despot, a dictator who is seeking to take this nation backwards in our history. But this is not the first time we
So if this is getting taken, it's going to look like this, where stop loss at high a day.
And violence. I mean, in the South, particularly, we had folks, young people rise up
Target
against George Wallace,
either-
and O'Connor,
I would
and
just-
if Donald Trump and
where are you
Tom Hardy
targeting
want to
with
be the
this?
George Wallace
This
and
is
Bill
gonna
Clinton of the
be
21st century, we have a
all
playbook
the
to
way
defeat them.
down. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
it's going to be
the
a
point.
massive.
A, there's a playbook, and B, our
Massive
ancestors,
attempt.
whoever
So
you are
the
in
goal will
America,
be or
your
blow, of
ancestors,
course.
whether you're
I don't
an
think we're going to
immigrant
get that
or
far
you're
because
from this
that's where
country,
the
or
M15
your
bias is. And
ancestors
again,
were enslaved
I
people.
really can't.
No one gave us
It's hard
the
to fade
permission
this
to say
M15 bias,
this
how
fight is
strong it's
tough.
been.
It's tough, but we're in it.
Exactly. It's tough, but I think, we can judge the
59.
effectiveness of our movement by the
Is this a
response of our
2-minute?
opponents. Seeing the news
No, just a
last
3.
night that the federal government is deploying the National Guard against citizens in this country, and where Hegseth is threatening to send in the Marine Corps, we see that this
first target will be back
administration
down
wants
to
people to be
the
afraid
orb
to
high
protest, to
retest.
show up, to hold the line, but that's precisely what we must do in this moment. We must push back, fight back. The majority of protests have been nonviolent. Who has been violent has been the ICE agents, who are a terror organization. Here in Tennessee, we had an organization that also used to wear masks and terrorize people
Order-filled.
that was founded in our state called the KKK. And that's exactly what ICE is doing, dragging people out in the dark of night, going to workplaces, going to elementary school graduations. They are a violent criminal gang.
Still no
in America,
close,
and
still
they will
not
be
in
held
it.
accountable.
We
Maybe not
have
by this administration,
14
but this administration
seconds.
will not always be
And every
empowered
time we come
because
to
they're a
this
fragile, weak
single gap
system of governance
on
that is
NQ,
a
you're gonna
shame
move
on America.
up.
One day the Trump Library is going to be a place that children go to learn what is wrong
Order-filled.
with America, how we move forward from that history, and what is the promise of America that
All right, another 3-minute failed close on the fair value gap here. Be half hour again. And it would be hard stops. It'd be limit sell stops. Yeah. Who say it looks like gold hasn't moved at all. Still at 3,340.
All right. So just for the sake of, we're almost done today too, at least in terms of like sitting in front of the
This is
computer.
another 3-minute candle, no close. Wow.
The Russell is super weak today too. The Nasdaq is really the only one that's up. YM's at its low a day. Russell is still inside its orb. ES is inside its orb. NQ is the only one that's taken any sort of liquidity that's even moved.
How long will we have to wait for this? Minute 12, minute 11. My candlestick chart timer is 5 seconds off. Oh. What's your 3-minute candle timer at right now? 1 minute?
So 3 minute, 1 minute and 3 seconds. 2 seconds.
Interesting how that works.
Is yours 5 seconds off?
It looks like I don't know how that even
What the
happened.
fuck?
I didn't even know it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Let me just refresh the screen.
If you're in longs from this orb still, use this 3 minute inversion as a stop loss, as like a soft stop. So if you're in, if you took the orb, even though we did not, you can use this 3 minute as like a inversion for a soft stop.
All right, don't collapse too far. Come on. We talked about we want this trade, and now you just want to dump on us. Okay. This piece
You're looking
of shit.
at
All right,
about
there's the close.
35
I'm in
points.
shorts. I'm changing my stop loss to soft stop at 21,888.
Order filled.
Fortunately, it's all I can do. Half risk. It's really the only position I can take. Goal is the orb high, so a retest of orb high. Let me move this. So we've tested the reason we're taking this trade, and let me go through it. I'm just going to list it on the screen. All right, my cat, get down.
All right. So also, let's just
One,
go here.
BPR bearish retest. 2, M15 PDH sweep. 3, what is this? M3 ILM, M3 ILM. 4, bearish SMT ES. 5. How many points away was this? Somewhere around the realm of 100. Yeah.
From the EMA, the 200.
Yeah, I can't even list 5. So yeah, it would be 4, which means it'd only be 4-star. Yeah, we'll move our stops, and we're going to be aggressive with our stops here since we're taking out these swing lows. I just want to move stops to entry literally here. This should melt. This should melt all the way down.
We do have we're so at 21,839. There's a 15-minute fair value gap we'll be trading into. So we'll be into that inside of that, so we could see a bounce anywhere around that between, and then 21,819 is the low of the fair value gap.
Okay. So if we tap what is 21,839, stops will be moved to entry. Yeah, we have a bunch of these fair value gaps on the way. So stop is being moved to entry in case these fair value gaps want to produce a move back up to our entry, which it should. I mean, we should quite literally just melt here in price. Is a 5-minute gap? No, so I don't think we're inside any gaps right now.
Not yet. We're very close.
Yeah, once we test the first gap, we'll move stops to entry, but nothing until then.
We do have a fair value gap right here on the 3-minute. Are you going to use like a failure of the inversion as a soft stop at all, or
for which one?
For the 3-minute, we have a fair value gap that was created almost like a BPR, but it's within like a point or so of being a real one, where we inverted it and then created a fair value gap. So are you using a failure of this as a an ILM to the upside?
No, I'm just using stops at 21,888, 21,880, which is I think 6 points above. Yeah, 10 points above the inversion. So until we test it, we have to test a fair value gap to the downside in order for me to want to move stops to entry. If we don't test any sort of PD array or auction block, then I don't think I have a reason to move stops. All right, now we sit, wait, and watch. I'm going to go grab some water. Give me just a few. The R on this trade is 1 to 2, about, 1 to 1.94. All right, I'll be right back. I'll put a magnet in the meantime. Looking for just a quick and easy right into the orb blow. Not asking for much NQ. All right, be right back.
– 10 minutes till this 1 hour closes too, so we're going to see if this 1 hour fails to invert this fair value gap or not. It would need to close below 21.
You're basically a peasant. If you drive like an old Bentley, like you're a peasant. Like you're basically driving like an advanced Volvo. And people don't understand how these things work. So they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like a Bentley is like a very respectable car. That's not how this works. There's levels to the game. If you want to be with the Flash, then obviously Ferraris, Lamborghinis do better. But depending on the crowd you with, a respectable, well-spec'd Rolls, Wraith, Dawn can be bought for under the price of a Huracan. Most people who are successfully okay, not like balling out of control. Normal guys making $200-300K a year can easily afford a Rolls-Royce Wraith or a Dawn, like a convertible. And if the spec is good and the car is clean, that will go way further for you than having a Huracan. If you're in Miami, drive.
It's not wrong. It's like, oh shit. You don't see that every day.
So as we're coming into this fair value gap, we haven't tagged any of these fair value gaps yet, but like 21,839, that's where the start of the
owning a Lamborghini wasn't about the speed or like because the turbo was faster and the car was modded and stuff.
All it
was the one thing I was like, I want to know what it feels like
at that level
to be that guy.
Then once we determine that, we'll see.
I didn't really care for a Lamborghini, but I was like, you know what? Everybody keeps running to those people every time we're at a car meeting. They're like, oh my god, like look at that guy's car. And I was like, I look at that guy and I'm like, everybody wants to be friends with that guy, and nobody knows who he is, what he is, just because of his car. I don't want to kiss his ass. So I was like.
I do not know if Ty had a hard stop at 880 or if it was a soft stop, to be honest. I know hard stop is at the highs for sure. It's only 3 points or 10 points difference. Thoughts on Bitcoin? I don't trade Bitcoin. Probably looks good. I know Ty's bullish on crypto right now.
Okay, this is interesting to me.
Bitcoin looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is different. So we're at 50% of the
109,000
orb.
easy first target.
I would argue
110
that
next. 111. Yeah, this
is a
looks fucking
long.
awesome. ILM on the 4-hour. Look at this displacement on the 4-hour, creating a fair value gap here. This looks great. Bullish Bitcoin. If you wanted to trade Bitcoin and you did not have a crypto account, you could use IBIT with options and leverage a Bitcoin ETF as well. Can't Americans trade
Also, it
futures and
resets
crypto?
the
I don't know.
VWAP. So we'll see.
Yeah, you could do spot on Robinhood. You can trade Bitcoin on TopStep, but you cannot swing Bitcoin on TopStep. That's the only problem. We hit 3.9. Yep, we hit 3.9. I want to see a fair value gap start getting created as we are pushing down right here. We have 5 minutes left in this 1-hour candle. Getting close. Yeah, ideally we don't want this high to get taken out.
Okay, I'm back.
We're in those fair value gaps now. We tagged it very early.
Stop loss entry.
Yeah.
All right. Keep holding.
If you wanted to be a little more conservative with your stop, instead of entry, you could put it 3 points above at the swing high on the 1 minute. Just saying, like, we want to make sure that you get higher highs and lower highs and lower lows.
So 15-minute. Massive. Yeah, we're inside of a massive fair value gap here on the 15-minute. This is what we're going to do.
15-minute, 5-minute, double stacked 3 minutes. You got them. This one's very, very noticeable. And the 1 minute 200 EMA is right here too, Ty.
It's everything's against us to have a full fucking flush, isn't it?
Yeah. Except for the rest of the market. ES and everything else is pretty weak. ES, YM, IWM.
All right. So the first trim will be into the 50% of this discount range. Should be 21,829. I just want to pull a profit here. So we're getting close. We're not there yet. So we'll be taking our first positional profit instead of the half sell, instead of at orb M15 high. It's just at the 50% range, the lower 50% range of the fair value gap. Silrac plus 3,600 on the day. Good shit. Yeah, my eval boys, you guys should be big risking into this. So I wait. I still haven't hit it yet. I haven't taken my partial. My partial's literally at the 50% of the range, which we have not hit.
Fascinating.
Phil. We missed it by a point.
Yeah, we're getting close.
IM might have a super clean 5-minute ILM to the upside here. I don't watch YM very often, but it could happen.
Yeah.
Orb high will be 2. Yeah, 1 to 2 risk reward.
This is my last 3 for the day.
Oh, you didn't adjust. Oh, I see. Well, fair enough then. All right, so
Order
rejection
filled.
from our M1 gap. Great. This is pretty much perfect for a continuation here to the downside. No M1 ILM as of now. Yeah, so there's the 1 minute close. No M1 ILM on this candle. Massive sweep, respect at the gap. Give us 21,826. We can take something off the table. Newman says floating 400 stop for 200. Hey, at least you pulled something. Go green. Lockout. I don't think there's any news today, so there's really nothing to look forward to. Yeah, no news today. Really no news tomorrow either. I mean, Trump speaks after the market closes.
Yeah, I think everybody's waiting for his CPI on Wednesday.
That's the big news. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, see you, Newman. Okay, and getting close to entry. No partials taken off yet. Don't do it to me. Let me get at least something off. The patients shall be paid eventually. 30 seconds, 15 seconds. Yeah, I don't know how well these actually support price. So you guys can see why we moved our stops here. As soon as the first fair value gap is tested, we assume that's the first place buyers will be found. And if buyers are found there, we don't want to increase our risk by continuing to hold while buyers pull price. Yeah, I should be getting very close. I see some of you already getting broken even. Where's M&Q? Getting close, but hasn't hit yet. No partials, still holding. We've definitely delivered from this bullish gap, though, which is a tad unfortunate. There's no profit to even take, which is the worst part, is even if you were to trim inside the gap, the margin is so low.
Order filled.
It's like a point away.
Yeah, I got the alert set.
Channel close.
Yeah, nearly picture perfect positioning here. Of course, M15 bias still against us, and it's been against us for every trade of June so far, to be fair. SMT still very much so intact. ES well below its London high and previous day high. Yeah, it's going to hit in a few seconds. And there's the break even. Tough break. All right. 9th June 2025. 7:42. Look at all the other massive trades you'll have.
It skews your risk to reward a lot.
If you trim here on a half position at the break even, you pull 0.2 R. At the end of the day, I'd rather just not even take a trade if I'm going to pull 0.2 R. 8:06 a.m.
I want to be one of those guys that just takes 100 0.2 R trades in a row and then just micro scalps everyone. 88% win rate, 0.2 R every time.
Again, literally picture perfect positioning. This is every time this is the position you want. Unfortunately, the M5 gap and buyers remain in control since the beginning in June. Even a perfect short position, unfortunately, they don't even play out that well because of how relentless these buyers are. Any fair value gap they find, they instantly buy from. The question wasn't why did you not trim it, it's why did you break even without taking any off? For the reason we broke even is because I'm so glad we did this again in real time because my thesis proves right every time. If you go to the 5 minute, you'll see there's only one we go short up here. There's only one fair value gap left, which means this is the only place buyers will be found. And I described this as I was moving the stops. If price hits this, it means we are testing into a zone where buyers will start auctioning again. You do not want to be risk on, which means with the same stop as before, as the content and context of the trade has changed. If you know you're coming into a zone where buyers will be, I already told, like I said, there's going to be buyers here. Of course there are. It's a 5 minute fair value gap after liquidity has been taken. We don't want to be full risk on at the highs if buyers are found here, which they were. Buyers are found, so we break even without taking any profit, because we can't take profit. I already described that as well. You can't take 0.25 profit, because if you do it today, then you have to do it the next trade. You have to keep doing that, or you're just going to have fucked up data the whole time. So because we don't do that, and we collect the full profit whenever it comes, you get out break even.
Joining us now, border czar for the Trump administration, Tom Homan. Mr. Homan, thank you for joining us this morning.
Okay, that's the
we
first
have
trade.
Now seen 3 days
even,
worth of
no win,
wide-scale
no
immigration
loss.
enforcement in LA County in the
Beautiful.
Fashion District.
I mean, God, I love this trade so much. Previous day high
when your
sweep,
appointment was announced, you
M15
said
sweep.
that.
It has to do with money laundering, tax evasion.